We're back. We're live in Orlando covering this horrific terror attack where 49 innocent people were slaughtered. And the killer, Omar Mateen, on the FBI's radar screen for years. More than 300 people dancing and having fun. A typical Saturday night at Pulse, a gay nightclub in Orlando. Then, early Sunday morning, gunfire suddenly erupts. It's the worst mass murder in U.S. history. Omar Mateen traveled twice to Saudi Arabia, once in 2011 and again in 2012. Mateen also on the FBI radar for 3 years. And in May 2013, Mateen's co-workers reporting Mateen to supervisors for saying he had family ties to al-Qaeda.
He said he hoped that law enforcement would raid his apartment and assault his wife and child so that he could martyr himself.
The FBI interviewing Mateen twice. The mass murderer admits saying these things to his co-workers out of, quote, anger because he was teased for being Muslim. 10 months later, the FBI investigation is closed. Then, in July 2014, the FBI is again knocking at Mateen's door, this time for having ties to a U.S. suicide bomber.
The killer knew him casually from attending the same mosque in that area of Florida.
Comey says the second FBI investigation determined that any contact was minimal and his connection was not critical. The man who would become a terrorist mass murderer slipping through the cracks. Fox News Chief Intelligence Correspondent Catherine Herridge has been working her sources. Catherine, this is now an FBI investigation. What are they telling you?
That's right, Greta. Look, the critical period appears to be in the spring of 2014 when Omar Mateen surfaced in the second FBI investigation. At that time, when they were looking at this American suicide bomber, they went to that mosque where you just had that report from with Griff, and they asked, is there anyone else on the path to radicalization? And a witness there identified Omar Mateen and said, this is a guy who is watching videos of the American cleric Anwar al-Awlaki. And what we know from our ongoing reporting here at Fox News is that people who are watching the videos or listening to the sermons of the American cleric who was targeted for death by the CIA in 2011, they are well down the path to radicalization. This is a common thread that we saw in the Boston Marathon bombing with the Tsarnaev brothers, as well as the San Bernardino shooters, and of course, most significantly, with Nidal Hasan, who was the shooter at Fort Hood in 2009. So this is really a blazing red flag that an individual is going down that path, Greta.
You know, Catherine, I read all of my Facebook comments, or a lot of them, and one woman posted today, Karen Cooley posted this question: how could you, meaning the media, find out in such a short time so many shocking things about the shooter, but it seems the background checks and Homeland Security kind of walked away saying nothing there? How would the FBI answer that?
Well, this specific issue came up in that Q&A session with the director after the news conference. And what we learned from the director is that after that first full 10-month FBI investigation concluded in March of 2014, Omar Mateen was taken off the watch list. During that 10-month period that the investigation was going on and he was on the watch list, if he had tried to buy a firearm during that period, the FBI agents involved would have been flagged. But once the investigation was closed, he was off that watch list, and there were no real blocks after that to prevent him from buying those weapons, Greta.
Well, we've certainly learned a lot in 36 hours that are rather terrifying in the media. We've learned that. Catherine, thank you.
You're welcome.